How many times today have you picked up your phone just because? Remember that moment in the smallest detail. You're sitting at your desk, feeling a slight fatigue, or waiting in line at the store, or just for a second, an awkward pause hangs in a conversation. And there it is. Your finger, with a movement honed to automatism, is already sliding across the smooth glass of the screen, opening a familiar bright icon. You didn't even make this decision consciously. Your hand reached for the device faster than your brain had time to formulate the thought. __quote _0 __. It happened on autopilot, as if an invisible thread yanked your wrist. You open an app to check your feed, watch a short video, scroll through the news, or simply escape from reality. Please, do not beat yourself up over this. Take a deep breath and let go of the guilt. We all do it. It has become our new global normal, our collective reflex, a way of coping with life in the 21st century. But have you ever wondered truly deeply, what exactly are we trying so desperately to run away from every time we dive headfirst into this glowing rectangle? What exactly are we trying to drown out with an endless stream of other people's pictures and texts? To understand this, we need to look at how our brain works. In moments of stress, fatigue, insecurity, or hidden background anxiety, our nervous system looks for the fastest, most accessible way to get a quick dopamine hit and disconnect from problems. Dopamine is a neurotransmitter that helped us survive through evolution. It is responsible for the anticipation of a reward. Our ancestors got it when they found sweet berries or escaped from a predator. But today, we don't need to run across the savannah. Social networks and apps are designed by the best minds of our time, engineers and neurobiologists, specifically to hack this ancient dopamine reward system. Your phone is the world's most effective slot machine, and it's always in your pocket. Every feed refresh, when you pull the screen down and wait for it to load, is like pulling the lever of a one-armed bandit. You never know what you'll get: a boring ad, an angry comment, or a funny video that makes you smile. This unpredictability is the strongest hook for our psyche. Every new flashy video, every like, is a tiny surge of hormones that makes us feel a little better, a little more significant, a little safer for a fraction of a second. And this endless, hypnotic scrolling becomes the perfect emotional painkiller, anesthesia for the soul. We live in a paradoxical era. We are constantly connected to the whole world. We can text a person on the other side of the planet in a second, but at the same time, we are often catastrophically disconnected from ourselves. We use the screen as an impenetrable shield against our own unprocessed and suppressed feelings. This is especially familiar to those who had to grow up early. If in childhood you had to be a convenient child, saving your parents from their own emotions, being too independent beyond your years, then you most likely never learned to process your pain in a healthy way. You learned to hide it. And now, in adult life, when we feel sad, we open social media to look at someone else's perfectly filtered life and end up feeling even worse, but at least distracted from the original sadness. We are scared for the future. We feel a crushing uncertainty that we don't know how to handle, and we mindlessly scroll through disturbing news. We fall into the black hole of doomscrolling, under the illusion that total control over information will give us control over the situation itself. We deceive ourselves, thinking that if we read just one more terrifying article, we will be prepared for the worst. But we only become more exhausted, and sometimes we are just bored. Modern humans are terrified, shaking at the thought of boredom, because boredom means silence, and in the silence, the information noise disappears, and we are left alone with our true thoughts, with thoughts about whether we are in the right place in life, with thoughts about why we are so lonely in our marriage, with thoughts about why our job brings no joy. These are terrifying, massive questions that require internal work, and to avoid hearing them, we choose distraction over and over again. We put on a podcast while washing dishes, we watch a show while eating, we scroll our feed while sitting in the bathroom. Not a second of silence, not a second alone with ourselves. But what if we are using this incredibly powerful tool, the most powerful in human history, completely, fundamentally wrong? What if we are voluntarily, day after day, giving away our vital energy, our invaluable attention, and ultimately the very years of our lives to algorithms whose sole, hard-coded purpose is to keep our eyes glued to the screen for as long as possible just to show us more ads? Let's try to make a radical shift in perspective. Let's look at this differently. The internet wasn't designed as a black hole, consuming our time and draining our already fragile psyche. In its original, pure idea, it is humanity's greatest invention. It was created as a tool for your personal empowerment, your freedom, and limitless access to world heritage. It is a space for profound growth, for finding true, like-minded individuals, for inspiration, creativity, and learning. It shouldn't be just a digital drug to numb existential pain. Imagine the internet as a massive, majestic, state-of-the-art library. It holds absolutely all the knowledge accumulated by civilization. You walk in to find a specific book, a book that will help you build a sturdy house, heal an old emotional wound, understand the psychology of your relationships, or master a new, highly paid profession. You are determined, but instead, right at the entrance to this magnificent library, you are met by jugglers, screaming clowns, flashy neon signs, brawlers fighting for the crowd's amusement, and vendors selling cheap cotton candy. They pull at your sleeves, shout in your ears, offer you a 1-minute trick to watch, and you stop. You stay in this noisy, meaningless lobby for 3 hours, completely forgetting why you even came here and what book you were looking for. You walk out exhausted, with a headache, red eyes, and a sucking feeling of emptiness inside. This is metaphorically exactly what happens to our brains every single day. So how do we break out of this vicious circle? How do we turn this tool from a cunning time thief into your main, devoted ally? How do we take back power over our own attention, and therefore over our own destiny? Absolutely everything starts with a tiny, barely noticeable pause, the space between stimulus and response. The next time your hand automatically, as if obeying a foreign will, reaches for your phone, stop for just 1 second. Freeze. Take a slow, conscious breath, and honestly, without judgment, ask yourself, what am I feeling in my body right now? What emotion is forcing me to do this? Do I really want to find some useful information right now? Do I urgently need to contact someone for business? Or am I just trying to hide from something right this second? Maybe you are just dead tired after a long workday, and your brain simply needs to close its eyes for 10 minutes and sit in silence rather than process gigabytes of visual garbage. Maybe you are angry after a difficult conversation with a partner, and this anger requires release through physical activity or tears, not through scrolling through other people's perfect vacations. If you are running away from discomfort, just admit it. Tell yourself out loud, quote _to_. This incredible honesty with yourself is already a massive tectonic shift. You are moving your action from unconscious automatism, where you are a victim of habit, to a conscious choice, where you are the master of the situation. And where awareness appears, control immediately follows. The second, equally important and perhaps even more difficult step is a ruthless digital cleanup. We usually choose the food we put in our stomachs very carefully. We carefully read labels. We try not to eat spoiled or outright poisonous foods. We understand the importance of proteins, fats, and vitamins for our physical health. But we absolutely do not monitor the informational food we feed our minds. And yet, the information you consume every day, hour after hour, literally physically shapes the neural architecture of your brain. It directly affects your chemical balance, your daily mood, your baseline level of vital energy, your self-esteem, and how you perceive the limits of your capabilities. Start treating your attention today as the most expensive, most scarce currency in the world, because it is. The largest corporations on the planet spend billions of dollars on research to capture your attention for even an extra second. Do not give it away for free and voluntarily to those who make you feel worse. Conduct a brutal audit of all your subscriptions. Go into the list of those you read and watch. Unfollow every account that broadcasts an unattainable plastic ideal of life, from those whose stories make you feel not successful enough, not productive enough, not thin or beautiful enough. Life is too short to spend precious minutes watching other people's carefully filtered and staged illusions that make you hate your own real life. Remove sources of constant stress, unmotivated aggression, and endless arguments from your field of vision. You will not become a stupid person or out of touch with reality if you stop reading terrifying news every hour. You will become much calmer, more balanced, and more capable of making adequate decisions. Instead of this garbage, start consciously, like a curator in an art gallery, filling your feed with things that educate you, calm your nervous system, and genuinely support you. Follow qualified psychologists who clearly explain how our fragile psyche works and how to heal your traumas. Follow artists whose paintings or photographs fill you with awe and aesthetic pleasure. Follow talented scientists who enthusiastically talk about the mysteries of deep space, quantum physics, or the amazing biology of the ocean. Follow people who share practical ideas for new hobbies, cozy recipes for delicious home-cooked food, and adequate tips for taking care of your health. Train the soulless algorithms to work for you, not against you. Social networks are not inherently evil. They are simply a cold mirror reflecting what you click on, what you comment on, and what you linger on for more than 2 seconds. If you show discipline and start liking and watching only long, thoughtful videos, reading deep articles, and engaging with inspiring content, the algorithm will adapt. Within a few weeks, your feed will transform from a toxic wasteland into a curated garden of knowledge and peace. You will take back your mind, your time, and ultimately, your life.